So I have the pleasure of bringing up the next speaker. This has become a brother of mine, Mr. Tom Daves. You see him there on the screen now. Mr. Tom Daves was number one in his other franchise, Keller Williams, number one in the world, right? There's only one guy that gets to walk across the stage as number one. A whole bunch of people remember being number 2, 3, but there's only one number one. And not once, not twice, not even 5 times, but 7 times the number one agent in the world with a significant brand. It's pretty incredible. I want to tell a little story that he hasn't approved, but I'm going to tell it anyway. When he joined our organization, our company, he was very excited. And I'm not going to get into the granular stuff, but it was a tough transition for him. And I remember getting a letter saying, hey, we saw your stuff on social media. You can't say that you were the number one agent 6 times. You can't do that. So take it down. Remember this, Tom? They're like, take it down. He's like, I thought I was being truthful. I mean, honestly. So he goes to his basement. I don't even think he has a basement, but I pictured a basement. And he starts going, 1, 2, 3, starts stacking out trophies. Well, lo and behold, there's 7. So he responded back, I absolutely won't say I was number one in the world 6 times anymore. It was 7. I love that story because it's just kind of, well, it was a little, but anyway. I love Tom Daves because he's so humble. He's such a giver. He is a complete beast when you think of attraction and calls and I mean, the amount of transactions this guy did in his career is just mind-blowing. But I'd love to invite Tom Daves up to the stage for a little fireside chat. Come on. Get comfortable. Get comfortable.
All right, testing. You guys hear me?
Okay. Get comfortable. There's a whole bunch of screws under your chair, so if that thing goes south, it's not my deal. You know, Tom, when you look at what's going on in the real estate world, how do you become number one in the world, honestly?
Well, great question. It's not rocket science, to be honest with you. I think one of the things that I learned early on is it comes from habits. I mean, very early on, okay? You guys have to remember, I actually started real estate before probably most of you were born, 1977. So, and those of you that may remember, I mean, I was sitting there with a rotary phone next to a black and white TV with radio, you know, with the rabbit ears while I was listening to a 45 radio of the Beach Boys. So when I first started, I was failing miserably, and I got a coach and a mentor, and he took me to a great event. It was at LAX. It was PMA, Positive Mental Attitude event, and there was like Zig Ziglar, Clement Stone, Jim Rohn, Tommy Hopkins, and they taught me 4 things, and these 4 things have just stuck with me, and number 1 is mindset. Think big, growth-minded, consistently learning and growing. And that's why you're all here, right? It's mindset. Number 2 is it's how we spend our time. Extremely disciplined, doing the right things in the right order, and having an accountability partner and putting it in your calendar. And then number 3 is who you spend your time with. I mean, we're all here together to learn and to grow. Jim Rohn says you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend most time with. So push yourself to spend time in bigger rooms with bigger people. And then the 4th is just to take massive, focused action. A lot of people are, you know, ready, aim, fire. Well, I implemented fire, ready, aim, and it's helped me succeed. And having fun, I think that's a big part of it, is to have fun along the way.
Yeah, and I didn't age you, you did. You brought all that stuff about rotary phones and stuff. I was going to stay away from it. But, you know, first of all, I've got to know you as a human being, and you're still skiing, right, regularly. You're still super active. When you look at the real estate space, you know, the foundational principles and practice you adopted to sustain the success, tell us about that. I mean, Every time I talk to you, you're quoting something. What's your favorite quote on the planet? What's your favorite quote? I guarantee
Wayne
I know it.
Gretzky, skate to where the puck is going to be. And so whether it's traditional real estate, REOs, flips, foreclosures, just, going in big rooms, being around big people like this, you're going to learn where the puck is going to be. So I have been able to catch each economic cycle ahead of the curve in most cases, except 2007. Any of those remember 07?
We all missed that one.
Made a bad mistake. There's one thing I'd love to share, that majority of my mistakes have come from over optimism, and then also making emotional decisions. So Wayne Gretzky has a great saying, and I love it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite now because of you, Tom. Tell us about your family.
Have a wonderful family, 3 kids and 3 grandkids. My daughter's 16. She is just an amazing soccer player, as well as student. My 32-year-old son works for PG&E, and he has 2 amazing family, 2 kids. My daughter is 34, and she has a son with another one on the way. So I just love my family. It's all about family.
Huge family, man. That's why I asked. I love your wife, Renee. She's amazing.
And my wife, Renee, of course.
Yeah, you did say that, right? I thought
Absolutely.
I was just repeating it. So, number one agent in the world comes with some responsibility, clearly, but also I think there's a lot of people that, what does it take to do that? And one of the things I wrote down was, what practices, you immerse yourself in personal motivation, growth, inspiration, and insight. What is it you do on a daily basis that separates you? Because there is a separation, Tom. You may not admit it. You're a humble guy. I've asked you this before. But what do you feel, if you had to look from the outside in, what separates you from maybe the average agent that hasn't had those breakthroughs and milestones?
Well, I'm a morning person, so I learned to master the mornings. So my routine is basically I get up, I drink 20 ounces of water, get a little coffee going, read the Bible, I pray, have some quiet time, meditation, before I turn on the phone. And then I work out, and I get a podcast going, and do the cold plunge, do a little groundwork, do some sunlight work, and then spend a little time with then it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
No, spend a little time with my family, and that's when I start my calls. I get on the phones, usually around 7:30 or 8 in the morning, just starting to make calls and continuing to master the morning. I just love to, make a mess in the morning and then clean it up in the afternoon.
He didn't know I was going to say this, but we did 75 hard together, and if you ever want to get the crap scared out of you, do 75 hard with somebody that's crazy like him. Because it was literally, I get up early. I get up at 4:50 to 5. I've always been a contractor, early morning guy. He's already texted me 12 times by 4:50. And he's like, what are you doing? Are you on the treadmill? What are you doing? He's sending me pictures of him on that rolling ball, and he's got a violin. He's drinking coffee.
Did you drink your gallon of water yet?
Yeah, I know. That was actually the hardest part of 75 hard, was drinking the water. I can't believe it, but it is. It's the simplest thing, but it's the discipline of getting to that. But we didn't talk about talking about this, but what was in 75 hard? What was the biggest breakthrough you had? Because I had big breakthroughs in that, and we were partners in this more than once. So what breakthroughs did you have in that?
So for me, it was all about mindset. It was all about growing and really pushing yourself, and also accountability. And you absolutely could not miss one day. And then also technology. I got the app to make sure that I didn't mess up, but it was just all about mindset. It's kind of like the cold plunge. You don't think about it, you don't negotiate, you just do it.
And 75 hard sounds totally simple. Work out 2 times a day, 45 minutes, 1 inside, 1 outside, a gallon of water, take a photo of yourself every day. What am I missing? Oh, eat clean, no alcohol, right?
10 pages in a book.
Yeah, right. Oh, read 10 pages in a book. That's it. That's it. So any one of those things are child's play. Couple them together, 75 days in a row. And it's a big deal. And I love being your partner during that because I don't think I would have completed it without you. I'm not going to call it harping on me, but it was pretty significant.
Well, that really speaks to accountability. Accountability, I mean, they say if you write down a goal, if you have a goal, you have a 50% chance of hitting it. If you write it down, it's 65 to 70. But if you write it down and have an accountability partner, it goes up to 90 to 95%. So thanks for being my accountability partner.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm sorry I checked that box in hindsight, but it's a real deal, man. If you ever want to challenge yourself, challenge Tom to any kind of contest, and trust me, it's a challenge. The market's changing. You know, you've been in this market how many years?
43 years.
43 years. Congratulations.
Woo! Started when I was 12.
Yeah,
12
I know,
years
exactly. Watching you snow ski and water ski and barefoot ski, like recently, I believe it. So, Tom, the market's changing. There's a lot of people that looking up to the maturity of you and your real estate career. What do they need to do in this new market?
Well, boy, howdy, the market is definitely changing. So, list homes. If you don't list, you don't last. Be a listing agent. That is going to solve any problem, especially with all of the NAR dynamics. So just be a listing agent. If you're holding open houses, the first thing to ask is, do you have a home to sell before you buy? Everything you do is focused on listings for so many reasons. So much better leverage. You can have better for your time and your calendar. For every listing, you should make 3 sales, and it's just so much easier to be a listing agent. So that's the whole key with this market, list homes.
And what would you say your suggestion for a listing superpower is right now?
So right now, it's social media. I have a coach, Buck Wise, and he's coaching me. You may have seen me shoot I've got a video going right now, social media. And the whole key is to share personal, business, and then inspirational videos on a consistent basis. And that's the key, and add value to others.
I love that. Let's talk about failing forward, right? I wrote, reflecting on setbacks and challenges faced. We've talked about some of the setbacks and challenges that we've had and you've had. How have you transformed moments of failure into opportunities for growth and improvement?
Well, as I mentioned in 2007, I was buying flips. I had 36 flips in my personal inventory, and then the market tanked, and I had over-optimism, and I was making emotional decisions, and so I just put the pedal to the metal more, which was wrong. So I learned that don't make over-optimistic and emotional decisions, but I did end up taking action. I just took immediate action. I was able to sell and trade and rent out my properties, but I just took immediate action. I've always dealt with a little bit of anxiety, but the one thing that solves all anxiety for me is just to take action. I got on the phones and I immediately started calling banks, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Chase, you name it, and went out, visited, traveled, and met the banks, and then everything broke loose, and it worked out great with the coming market. So fail forward. That's my key.
So a lot of people are looking at you as a pillar in the real estate community, which you are. What advice would you give them right now? Would it be mindset? Would it be action? Would it be discipline? Would it be calendar? Would it be all the above? I mean, if they caught you in an elevator and you had 30 seconds, what would be your recommendation for them in this market?
So again, it's not rocket science. It would go to those 4 pillars of success. Mindset, think big, growth-minded mindset, constantly learning and growing. Number 2 is it's how you spend your time. Discipline, doing the right things in the right order consistently. Number 3 is who you spend your time with, which is huge, and have an accountability partner. And then number 4 is just take massive, focused action. Woo!
I've never met anybody like Tom Daves, and I've coached a lot of agents, a lot of top performers. I've never met anybody like Tom Daves. When we say we're going to do something, he's just in action immediately. And it's got to be something in the wiring for that, Tom. At what point in your career did that kind of kick in for you, if you could think back on it? Was it very early in your career? Was it after you reached number one and then you looked at new milestones? What was it for you?
So I think it was when I first got into the real estate business. I graduated high school. I went to one semester of college, and I was a journeyman checker in the grocery store business during that time. And I just burned the boats. I just quit the job. I got rid of my income, and I had 2 months worth of income. I was renting an apartment. I just had to make it. So from the very beginning, I've always seemed to put myself in situations where I have to burn the boat. I've got to make it no matter what. So from the beginning.
I love that. So around the room, who's burning your boats? Right? I see one hand up. Good job, sir. You're the one that didn't come back from food coma. But think about that for a minute, honestly. You know, you've got the number one guy multiple times in the world, and he's saying that he committed to burning his boats. And to me, that's a big aha, right? Are you dabbling? Are you half in? Are you half out? Right? A lot of us think of it maybe as a backup plan or a contingency that might be wise for you. But sometimes it's only when you do burn those boats that you really commit to what you want to do. If you want to make this your career, if you want to make this your, leave a legacy in this real estate space, right? By the way, there's legacy opportunities in the real estate space right now. There's legacy opportunities. Tom, I've enjoyed our time together, and, rise up, like, what defining moments or achievements have you celebrated that were significant markers of success in your career, long, successful career?
Well, as much excitement there was walking across stage, grabbing the plaques and the trophies, it wasn't really sustaining. I think one of the most influential moments, one of the most rewarding moments was I used to know a guy that was a college grad, and he was working in a car wash in the town I live in, and I would see him, and I would say, "Why are you working in a car wash? You should get into real estate." So he said, "Really?" He took my advice, got into real estate, and I mentored him, taught him, coached him, mentored him, and 2 weeks ago, I took him out to a Makuni restaurant, and he said, "Tom, you changed my life." He's a top agent, very successful. So it was kind of like the first half of my career was all about success, which was kind of all about me. Second half is about significance, which is about others. And that's where it's at.
Woo! Round of applause for that. And last question, again, we didn't talk about this, but you've been really a master at skating to where the puck is going to be. And it's a very changing landscape, market, real estate, AI. You're going to hear about AI this afternoon. YouTube, you're going to hear about top YouTube people in the world. Where do you see the next 3 to 5 years of real estate?
Well, I just listened to the NAR forecast, and so if any of you didn't catch that, I think it would be something good to listen to. Right now, we still have a shortage of inventory, and although interest rates are high, they are expecting interest rates to drop down into the 5s within the next year. And so once we see that, there's still a lot of pent-up demand. So we're really going to see a very active market. And also, it's a great time to buy into and invest. I think that's one thing that I think Matthew said, talk to a flipper. I was a flipper. I bought and sold hundreds of homes, and I wish that I would have held on to more of them. So buy real estate, invest in assets that are going to give you net worth, residual income, invest into businesses, and pour into opportunities that have residual income. And I will just tell you, EXP changed my life. I mean, I love it. Thank you. I'm 69 years old. and I can finally retire from real estate sales. It changed my life. Thank you, Glenn.